sharing the wealth.
All week long here on The Report, we're taking a look at the many different ways that you can share your wealth with your loved ones. And today, we're taking a closer look at wills and what you need to know before sitting down to hash one out for yourself. And to help us in this discussion, we have again attorney Jennifer Brandt joining us from Cozen O'Connor. And Ms. Brandt, good to see you again.
Thanks for having me, Art.
This is such a critical document. Why then don't more people have it?
Art, that is the big question. Really, everybody needs a will, whether you're single or married, you have children or you don't. Everyone needs one, and more people should have them. And that's why I'm here, to tell you why. I think it's really important. You want to make sure you know where your property is going when you die. You have people that you want to inherit and some people that you don't. And if you leave it up to the state, you don't know who might get your assets.
Well, you're an attorney. I know that it can be a particularly dicey endeavor when someone has passed on and then there's the matter of settling an estate where families have their interest involved and perhaps others who had debts that they needed to be settled. This can be really brutal if it's not handled correctly, can it?
That's right. That's why you do need the assistance of a good attorney to sit down with you and go through everything and decide what is the best plan for you. But, you know, Art, if you don't have much, you can also do a very, very simple will. The point is getting your thoughts down and in putting down where you want your property to go. That is the crucial part of it. It doesn't have to be very, very complex, and I think that's what a lot of people are afraid of.
Not complex, and the myth, the popular myth by many is that a will is for someone old who may be beginning to get in the sunset of their life. But the fact of the matter is it's for young or old, single or married, right?
That's absolutely right. That it's true. And the point is you really want to sit down ahead of time with your loved ones and discuss what your will is going to contain so you avoid those fights that you referred to earlier. You want to lay out your estate plan and let people know what's in there. It shouldn't be a big secret, and that's what many people make the mistake. They keep everything very private, and then when they die, sometimes people don't even know where the will is located.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I know that people are added to wills and cut out of wills all the time. When's a good time to update or modify your will?
Anytime you have a major life event, that's when you should update a will. You'd be surprised at how many people I represent in their divorces, and then after their divorce, they forget to update the will, and then their ex-spouse is inheriting all of their wealth. So anytime you have a major event, whether it be a marriage or a divorce, or you have children, or God forbid something happens to one of your children, it's important to update your will and to think about your will.
Well, what about this thing about the language that we hear in all the movies and everything that I, such and such, do, being of sound mind and body, do hereby will and bequeath. That being of sound mind and body is important, isn't it?
That's right. You do want to be of sound mind. That's why you don't want to wait until you're so old that you may not understand the ramifications of the will. And that's why it's important to do it early and to update it. You should also keep in mind, Art, the revised laws. The laws are always changing on inheritance taxes, so if you work with a lawyer, you can keep apprised of that and update your will when things change.
Okay, and I know that the cost obviously vary depending on the firm or the person who's doing the will, but give us a rough idea for people who are watching us, roughly what they can expect to pay in terms of if they want to have a will done for themselves or their family.
I mean, you can go to a place like Staples and get a form will and fill it out, or there are a lot of things online now where you can fill out a will for just a couple of bucks.
And that's a binding document, right? I mean,
that is a binding,
regardless if it came from Staples.
It is a binding document, but I recommend that people do sit down with an attorney. It does not have to be expensive. Most of these attorneys charge an hourly rate. So find someone who is within your budget and discuss the different ramifications. You do want to think about the different, as I said, estate tax laws, whether in your state or federal government, and a little bit about your estate. That's where an attorney really can have some benefit, and they can help you along with the process and make sure you make the smartest decision for you.
And do you necessarily have to separate the pots and pans, like I want my daughter to get the silverware and my son to get my golf clubs? Do you have to break it down in that level of minutia?
You don't. You really don't. You can be as simple as just bequeathing everything to a certain person or persons. But to avoid those types of fights, especially if you have children and you have a lot of property actually to be distributed, you may want to specify so that they're not squabbling amongst themselves after your death and causing, the breakdown of the family. That's something you certainly do want to avoid. So It's not a bad idea to specify.
I agree. Put it in writing. Avoid the hassle and the fight. Jennifer, thank you very much. That's attorney Jennifer Brandt, who's joining us again. And by the way, she'll be back tomorrow to talk more about how you can provide for your parents rather than them always planning on taking care of you. That's, again, as we continue our week-long series, Sharing the Wealth on AFR.